أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد أما بعد السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. As we continue the Tafsir of Surah Al-Isra, the 17th Surah of the Holy Quran, we find that Allah Azza wa Jal says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإما تعرضن عنهم ابتغاء رحمة من ربك ترجوها فقل لهم قولا ميسورا ولا تجعل يدك مغلولة إلى عنقك ولا تبسطها كل البسط فتقعد ملوما محسورا إن ربك يبسط الرزق لمن يشاء ويقدر إنه كان بعباده خبيرا بصيرا. From verse number 28 to 30, we have a very beautiful theme that we can see, which is regarding how we should give charity, how we should give sadaqah, and to realize that whatever we give in the way of Allah Azza wa Jal will come back to us many-fold. Allah Azza wa Jal says in verse 28 that because yesterday we ended with the verse that says that when you give sadaqah, don't be wasteful. وَلَا تُبَذِّرْ تَبْذِيرًا. However, now in verse 28, Allah Azza wa Jal is saying, what if you don't have anything to give? A miskin comes to you, a sa'il comes to you and says, help me, and you don't have anything to give. Then you have i'rad. I'rad means turning away from somebody. When that person comes to you, you turn away from them. How do you turn away from them? Turn away from them with gentle words, with kind words. If you have nothing to give, at least offer a smile. Samahani. Insha'Allah, Allah will give you what you need. The Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, when he had nothing to give, he would say, Razaqanallahu wa iyyakum min fadlih. May Allah give us rizq and you also from His grace, from His fadl. And so it is very important, if you don't have anything to give, don't turn away with a face of anger. Turn away with a face of gentleness and kindness. This is very important. Allama says it is very interesting that in this ayah number 28, the word rahmah is used for rizq. Rizq is also a rahmah of Allah Azza wa Jal. In verse 29, a very interesting analogy is given when it comes to how to give the sadaqah. Now you want to give, you have something to give, how do you give? We are told when you want to give sadaqah, do not keep your hand tied to your neck. Neither should you open it completely. Don't have it maghlula chained to your neck, ila unuqik. وَلَا تَبْسُطْهَا كُلَّ الْبَسْطِ. Neither should you open it completely. The first part, we are told, means that if your hand is chained to your neck, it means you are a miser. The height of miserliness. That somebody in this day and age in Tanzania comes to you and you give them 100 shillings. For example, Or if you are in Kenya, you give them 1 shilling or 5 shilling. What can you get with that? So that is an example of somebody, or you don't give them, you have but you don't give them. The height of miserliness. On the other hand, you have somebody, you are the opposite. تَبْسُطْهَا كُلَّ الْبَسْطِ. Whatever you have in your pocket, say, I'm mu'min. Open your wallet, everything. Here, this is for you. I'm just giving you a contemporary example. Both of them are wrong. Islam is a path of moderation. Follow the middle path. Both of them are wrong. What will happen in the end if you do this? You will be blameworthy and you will regret. Regret will come to you, because at the end of the day, if you have wealth and you give it all in the way of Allah Azza wa Jal, then what happens to you? What happens when you need something? So there is regret then. And at the same time, if you are a miser, you will also regret, because on the day of judgment you will have lost the opportunity of giving sadaqah. The next verse, Allah says, it's a very general verse. He says that I am the one who distributes the wealth. Allahu يَبْسُطُ الرِّزْقَ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ وَيَقْدِرُ. He is the one who distributes and He is the one who withholds. Allah knows best whom to give more, whom to give less. Those who are given more as a test. Those who are given less as a test. It is a test for both of them. One faces test in riches, one faces test in poverty. Question, Oh Allah, I like the first test. Why you are giving the second one? Oh Allah, if riches are a test and poverty is a test, I choose the first test. Allah Azza wa Jal knows which test to give to whom. He has the wisdom, He knows. This person, for him, the test is in poverty. This person, for him, the test is in riches. This is very important. So we should not complain when it comes to our situation. Allah Azza wa Jal is the one who knows. In the next 3 verses, Allah Azza wa Jal says, وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ خَشْيَةَ إِمْلَاقٍ نَحْنُ نَرْزُقُهُمْ وَإِيَّاكُمْ إِنَّ قَتْلَهُمْ كَانَ خِطْئًا كَبِيرًا وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا إِنَّهُ كَانَ فَاحِشًا وَسَاءَ سَبِيلًا وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا النَّفْسَ الَّتِي حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ وَمَنْ قُتِلَ مَظْلُومًا فَقَدْ جَعَلْنَا لِوَلِيِّهِ سُلْطَانًا فَلَا يُسْرِفْ فِي الْقَتْلِ إِنَّهُ كَانَ مَنْصُورًا. First, in verse 31, Allah is talking about infanticide, killing your children. Out of what? Out of fear of poverty. This is what used to happen in the age of Jahiliyyah. The people who were living in the desert Arabs, sometimes they would get more children than they thought they could provide for. And so they would kill their children because khashyata imlaq, they were afraid of poverty. Allah tells them, don't be afraid of poverty. We will provide for these children of yours the way we have provided for you. Providing rizq is our job. You should not be afraid of poverty. This is very interesting because here again there is a disagreement between Shaykh al-Tabarsi and Allama Tabatabai. A very small disagreement. Shaykh al-Tabarsi says that here the ayah is talking about female infanticide, killing the girl children. Because we know that the Arabs used to do this. When a girl was born to them, they never liked it. And they would sometimes bury their daughters alive. But Allama Tabatabai says, yes, it is true, the Arabs used to do this, but this ayah is not talking about female infanticide. This ayah is general. Sometimes because of fear of poverty, they would also kill their male children. They would also kill their male children. So this is one interesting point. In the next verse, verse number 32, Allah talks about zina. وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا. Why? إِنَّهُ كَانَ فَاحِشًا. It is an indecency. It is something that is indecent. The beauty of it is that, as Shaykh al-Tabarsi says, zina, the evil of zina is something that is intellectually proven. You don't need an ayah of Quran. You can know that this is something bad intellectually. Why? He says because you know that children require both their parents. And when zina takes place and it is something that takes root in society, then children are remaining without two parents. They have one parent only. Single parent families, where either the mother is raising the child or the father is raising the child. And he says this is intellectually repugnant. This is what Shaykh al-Tabarsi says. And of course, it is very interesting. Allama goes into the history of marriage and how marriage came about in societies. And he says one of the primary reason for marriage in societies is that sense of ghira in a man. Ghira is one of those words in Arabic that doesn't have English translation. Ghira doesn't have English translation. People have tried different ways. Noble jealousy, a noble kind of jealousy. What is ghira? Ghira is that sense of shame and that sense of pride a man has in him, that he does not want his wife to be seen by other men. He does not want his daughter to be seen by other na-mahram men. He doesn't want any na-mahram to approach his wife or his daughter. It's called ghira. Ghira is a very good and a very positive quality. It's a very positive quality in Islam. It has been praised. And so Allama says it is because of this natural sense of ghira that marriages came about in history. Weddings, you get married, now that spouse is only yours, not to be shared with anyone. And that is how it came. And of course we know that there are many riwayat about zina and the problem of zina and the punishment of zina. Of course the word zina is used for both adultery and fornication. There is a difference. Adultery is illicit relations with a married person. Fornication is illicit relations with a non-married person. There is a difference between the two. Even in the punishment there is a difference. If a person has illicit relations with a married person, the punishment is capital, death, capital punishment. But if a person has fornication, illicit relations with somebody who is not married, then it is lashing. First time lashing, second time lashing, third time lashing, fourth time death. This is something that is common in all the hudud, even for drinking. You are given 3 chances, fourth death. Why? Because it shows that you are such a stubborn person. After having been punished once, twice, thrice, again you went to do it. That means you are a sick person in the society. Ala ayyi hal, the riwayat are very interesting. One riwayah from Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. He says zina has 6 consequences. 3 in the dunya and 3 in the akhirah. In the dunya, the 3 consequences of zina are, it takes away the light of one's face, the nur of one's face. Number 1. Number 2, it reduces your sustenance. And number 3, it brings you closer to destruction and annihilation. These are the 3 in the dunya. In the akhirah, number 1, it brings the anger of Allah Azza wa Jal upon you. Number 2, your accounting for your deeds will be very difficult. And number 3, your end will be in the fire of hell. These are the 6 consequences of zina. And then Allah Azza wa Jal in the next verse, He comes back to the issue of killing. We noted in the verse before this, it was infanticide, killing your children. Don't do that, He said. Here now He says, do not kill any human being who is innocent. The only soul that you can take is that which is one who deserves to be killed. For example, what? For example, if somebody kills someone, then his punishment is death. A life for a life. This is known as qisas. And qisas is very important, especially if you remember in the age of Jahiliyyah, what used to happen was, it was not a life for a life. If they would kill one person from your tribe, you would kill 10 people from their tribe. And once you kill 10, then they will kill 100. And so it flares up. And so when this rule came, one life for one life, then the verse of the Quran tells us, وَلَكُمْ فِي الْقِصَاصِ حَيَاتٌ. O people, there is life for you in qisas. This is a just way, a just system. Of course, if you are the person whose family member has been killed, You have the right of revenge, of qisas, which has to go obviously through the system, the legal system, where there is a judge and there is proof presented and they say, yes, this person is guilty, so now he has to be punished. But if you are the wali, you have a permission of taking diya or of forgiving that person and saying, no, I'm okay, I don't want him to be killed. But then, after you have done this, again some ulama say that it goes back to the government, if it's an Islamic government, whether they still want to punish this person or to leave this person. So this is the issue when it comes to killing of the souls. Then the next verse is Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. ولا تقربوا مال اليتيم إلا بالتي هي أحسن حتى يبلغ أشده وأوفوا بالعهد إن العهد كان مسؤولا وأوفوا الكيل إذا كلتم وزنوا بالقسطاس المستقيم ذلك خير وأحسن تأويلا. Here now, these two verses talk about justice. Justice when dealing, number one, with the orphans. Sometimes you are dealing with orphans under your care, and you are responsible for their wealth. If their parents left behind wealth for them, you are the trustee, you are in charge of that wealth. So we are told in this verse, then don't eat of that wealth. Don't use the wealth of the orphans because it is their property, except in a right manner. So Allama here, he says, what do they mean by in a right manner? He says, he gives an example. He says, if you have the wealth of a yatim in your control and you know that you will invest it in something which will bear profits for the yatim, which will preserve the wealth of the yatim, then you are allowed to invest it in that. That is how you use the yatim's wealth in that which is best. But it does not mean that now you can start using it for your own enjoyment and your own pleasure, because this is the wealth that does not belong to you. And then until they come of age, you know, yatim is one who cannot fend for himself. Yes, some say one who does not have a father, some say one who does not have father and mother is yatim. But the condition is, as long as that child cannot fend for himself. But once they become mature, you don't call them yatim anymore. If a mature person loses his father, he's not yatim, because he's mature now. He can take care of his own affairs. So, Allama says a yatim is one who cannot fend for himself. That is the condition. And the next verse says that when you give measure, qistas means that weighing scale, وَزِنُوا بِالْقِسْطَاسِ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. Use a weighing scale which is correct. Meaning when you are giving weight and measure in any business, if you are selling, because this is a general statement, it means being fair. Not that you try and cheat when you are selling. This is very important. So if you are thinking of something which pertains to food items that you have to weigh in kilograms, yes, you have to be very fair while weighing. But even if you think of other things, somebody says, no, my business doesn't entail weighing anything. I sell spare parts, for example. Here also you have to be very fair. You can't say this is German when it is Chinese and you know it is Chinese. Because if it is Chinese, you know it is Chinese and you tell, oh, original German spare part. You are going against this verse of the Quran. وَزِنُوا بِالْقِسْطَاسِ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ. And then the verse says, but it is good for you to do this. It is good to be fair. You will benefit. Not only in the akhirah, in this world. Why? How? The Mufassirin say, especially At-Tabarsi says, that when a person is very fair, then his reputation in the society is that this person is reliable. I would rather pay 10,000 shillings more and go to him and get something, he'll tell me it's original, I know it's original. He's got a good reputation. How do you build that good reputation? By being fair in your dealings and in your business. Then Allah Azza wa Jal continues and He says, وَلَا تَقْفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ إن السمع والبصر والفؤاد كل أولئك كان عنه مسؤولا. Allahu Akbar. This is one of the very dangerous verses. This is one of the very important verses of the Holy Quran. وَلَا تَقْفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ. If you don't have knowledge about something, don't follow it. Don't follow it. Don't take a position without ilm. There is a difference between dhan and ilm. Dhan means I think so. I have 60%, 70% in my heart that this is correct. If you ask me, are you sure? I'm almost 100% sure. I'm 80% sure. That is dhan. Ilm means 100% sure. When you are 100% sure, then you take a position. That is very important. Many of us, we take up a position without ilm. We take up a position and we defend ourselves. Say, no, this is right, I am sure. Stubbornly, obstinately. This verse says, don't do that. Don't take up a position. Don't follow something which you are unsure about, which you do not have ilm about. It's very important. Why? Because on the day of judgment, your faculties will be questioned. Why are your eyes questioned? And your ears? And your heart? These are the three things that are questioned. Allama says, because these are the three faculties that are required to gain ilm. The ear, the eye, the heart. The heart also can mean mind. These are the faculties that are required for ilm. And they will be questioned. Did you have the ilm before you went after this or not? If you did not have the ilm and you take a position, then you have to answer for it. Allama Tabatabai mentions here the issue of taqleed. He says that is why taqleed is important. Because when you don't know, you have to follow one who knows. He mentions that in his tafsir. So it is important therefore, if you are a person who does not have knowledge, sufficient knowledge, then you have to follow one who has sufficient knowledge. A beautiful tradition from our fifth Imam, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. He quotes from the Holy Prophet, he says that on the day of judgment you will be asked about four things. Every human being will be asked about four things. Number one, you will be asked, how did you spend your life? Each and every moment of your life you will be asked, how did you spend your life in the dunya? Question number one. Number two, how did you use your body? We gave you a body, how did you use your body in the dunya? Number three, how did you spend your wealth? How did you spend your wealth? And the fourth question is about the love of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. You will be asked, every human being will be asked about these four things. This is from the hadith of our fifth Imam alayhi salam. And then of course the very well known verse which we have already quoted in one of the lectures, وَلَا تَمْشِي فِي الْأَرْضِ مَرَحًا إِنَّكَ لَن تَخْرِقَ الْأَرْضَ وَلَن تَبْلُغَ الْجِبَالَ طُولًا. Oh people, don't walk haughtily and proudly on the earth. Don't walk haughtily, that means with arrogance and pride on the earth. Why? Because that arrogance will not enable you to go into the depth of the earth, neither will it enable you to go to the peak of the mountains. That arrogance of yours has no value. So when you walk on the earth, walk with humility, walk with humbleness. This is very important. Of course, marah, the word marah in Arabic means to be overjoyed. To be overjoyed at something which is batil, that is marah. So don't walk like that, that is a way of saying arrogance. And then finally, the last verse we will look at, كُلُّ ذَلِكَ كَانَ سَيِّئُهُ عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ مَكْرُوهًا. All these things we have mentioned today in these verses, these things are considered evil and they are detested by Allah Azza wa Jal. They are makruh, they are detestable to your Lord. What are these things? We have mentioned zina, infanticide, killing those who don't deserve to be killed, walking on the earth with pride, not being fair in your dealings, cheating others, so on and so forth. All these things are considered makruh and detestable in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jal. So Shaykh al-Tabarsi says that this verse itself, this short verse, proves that the Jabriya are wrong. Who are the Jabriya? Jabriya are those Muslims who used to exist in the past, and some of them, the idea continues until today. They say that Allah Azza wa Jal is the one who plans everything. Everything that happens, He is responsible. There is Jabr. There is no free will. It is all in the command of Allah. We are like puppets. Whatever Allah makes us do, we do. That's Jabr. Jabr means there is no free will. Those who believed in Jabr were the Jabriya. Shaykh al-Tabarsi says this ayah is enough to show how the Jabriya are wrong. How? Because it is not possible for Allah to say that these actions are detestable to Him and then He makes us do that which is detestable to Him. It is not possible for that to happen, and hence we know that the Jabriya are wrong. So we pray to Allah Azza wa Jal to grant us the ability in this month to look at these beautiful verses of the Holy Quran, to learn from them and to implement these teachings in our life. We want to have a close connection with the Quran in this month, inshaAllah ta'ala. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة.